one group from the Golden Age can lay claim to having spawned three of its greatest guitar heroes, and that's the Yardbirds. In succession, Eric Clapton, Jeff Beck, and Jimmy Page were the lead guitarists with the London-based group. And that means that practically every technical innovation on the instrument in the early and mid-'60s, including feedback and fuzz tone, was pioneered within the Yardbirds. Now, Clapton was the Yardbirds' first guitarist, and we'll hear from him shortly. He quit the group in '65 and was replaced by Jeff Beck. The song you're about to hear was originally done by the Burnett brothers, whose version was the first single ever to use fuzz guitar. But this is Jeff Beck doing a pretty credible imitation of a locomotive on Train Kept A-Rollin'.
I couldn't let her go with him. Oh, just couldn't let her go. Now, get along. Sweet little woman, get along. Tell me I'm gonna wait, get along. Sweet little woman, get along. Tell me I'm gonna wait with him. Oh, I just couldn't let her go. Now, now, now.
Eric Clapton had left the Yardbirds because his love of the blues wasn't meshing with their new direction, a sort of pre-psychedelic pop. But Clapton also didn't last long in his new group, John Mayall's very traditional Blues Breakers. You see, Clapton wanted to start a band where he'd have real freedom to stretch out. He'd hit it off with Blues Breakers bass player Jack Bruce, and when wild, jazz-oriented drummer Ginger Baker sat in one night, the notion of Cream was born. Cream lasted a little over 2 years, but its influence was enormous. The trio played loud and long, Clapton especially displaying his virtuoso chops on solo excursions. This is Cream's most familiar song, performed at their final show, the farewell concert at London's Royal Albert Hall. third guitar hero to come through the Yardbirds was Jimmy Page. Session superstar Page joined the Yardbirds on bass, graduating to guitar when Jeff Beck quit. 2 years later, the Yardbirds themselves disbanded. They left Page with the group's name and some unfulfilled concert dates in Scandinavia, for which the advance money had already been spent. So Page threw together a band to fulfill the obligation. He called John Paul Jones, a bass player he'd worked with on Donovan's Hurdy-Gurdy Man, Robert Plant, a vocalist who'd impressed him from the Midlands, and their mutual acquaintance, drummer John Bonham. The new Yardbirds became Led Zeppelin, with whom Jimmy Page pushed the limits of distortion, feedback, reverb, the guitar itself. The eclectic nature of music in the late 60s is apparent as we segue from B.B. King to Ted Nugent. The self-proclaimed Motor City Madman got so much publicity for hunting his own venison that people forgot he also could play guitar. Nugent ultimately settled into the style that was becoming known as heavy metal. But his first group, the Amboy Dukes, has been described as psychedelic garage rock. Don't you just love rock and roll jargon? A continuing debate about Nugent's level of skill kind of paralleled debates about his reactionary politics and his victory in a national squirrel shooting contest. But as you'll see from his solos on this Amboy Dukes hit, Ted Nugent can play. The second wave of the British blues revival brought us yet another guitar hero with amazing technique. Eric Clapton had earned the ironic and amusing nickname of Slow Hand. Alvin Lee was, if anything, faster than Clapton. What B.B. King was to tone, Alvin Lee was to speed. American rock promoter Bill Graham was dazzled by Lee's virtuosity and booked Lee's group 10 years after at Fillmore's East and West. 10 years after's next breakthrough was a triumphant appearance at the Woodstock Festival. Their 11-minute stint in the Woodstock film is one of its highlights. Check out Alvin Lee's amazing chops on 10 years after's version of a blues standard first recorded in 1937, Good Morning Little Schoolgirl. Father of the Mothers of Invention, owner of Barking Pumpkin Records, and author of Weasels Ripped My Flesh, might be a tad disappointed with the mundane label Guitar Hero. But what can we do? We're committed to remind you that Frank Zappa, besides his substantial gift for satire, also wielded a mighty mean axe. Zappa grew up with a fertile imagination in the Southern California desert. In 1964, he created the Mothers of Invention, whose avant-garde style was both something to take seriously and a kick.
I might be moving to Montana just to raise me up a crop of dental floss. Raising it up, waxing it down in a little white box that I can sell uptown. By myself, I wouldn't have no boss, but I'd be raising my lonely dental floss. lonely dental floss. Raising my lonely dental floss. Ride along the border with my tweezers gleaming in the moonlighty night. A little tweezer glint, and then I'd get a cup of coffee. I'd give my foot a push. Just me and the pygmy pony over by the dental floss bush. And then I might just jump back on and ride like a cowboy into the dawn to Montana.
Still to come, Jimi Hendrix. To conclude tonight's episode, we have what may be the greatest performance ever by a guitar hero, the finale of Jimi Hendrix's set at Monterey Pop. Hendrix was in the process of completely revolutionizing the way the guitar was played. Typecast as a blues guitarist on the New York scene, Hendrix had moved to England and become a star, and now was returning to the States to show the home crowd what he could do. How he could play feedback the way others played notes, making it almost into melody. How he manipulated the volume control, the toggle switch, the tremolo bar, into a new menu of options for every Quicksilver moment. How he was the master and sound was his servant. At Monterey Pop, Hendrix came on not long after The Who literally stopped the show with their equipment smashing routine. This was Jimi Hendrix's reply.